report of an attack on protesters. He said the protest has been hijacked by hoodlums.
I give you my word, I'm going to find out what really happened here. But I'm aware that hoodlums have hijacked this protest from them. They have a lot of people moving around with them, harassing members of the public. About 1 hour ago, we just arrested 3 people who went around stealing POS among the protesters. We have thugs. We have people who have been stealing wipers from people's vehicles. They have been trying to burn tires everywhere. So these are not protesters. Thugs are among them. So if thugs are here, maybe they came with them or something like that. But I give you my word, I'm going to investigate and I will give you feedback about what I found out.
The CP also said hoodlums have started forcing people to join the protest, threatening businesses and shop owners not to open for business. Correspondent Emekotaka reports that CPDSU vowed that the police will not allow hoodlums take over the protest to cause mayhem in the state. He urged residents to go about their businesses, assuring that the police are handling the situation.
And they started going to town, harassing traders, harassing people, threatening them not to come out, otherwise tomorrow will be tough. Nobody will close his eyes to that. We are capable of protecting lives and property. It's our jobs, we know how to do it so well. And for your information, our sister agencies have joined in. Everywhere you go, you see members of the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, and the Navy. Secret Service are around too. Members of the Civil Defense, you see them everywhere. And if you look up, you will see the Air Force and Nigerian Police pilot flying to tell us what is happening from the sky. So we have all resolved to ensure that we continue to maintain peace in this state.
Earlier, some persons opposed to the protest chased away the protesters who had gathered outside the Federal Secretariat in the morning for the 7th day of the End Bad Governance protest. They told our correspondent that their action follows the hijacking of the protest by hoodlums who harass motorists, residents, and loot from shops. They said the initial purpose of the protest had been defeated by the actions of the hoodlums and vowed not to allow such to continue in the state.
We understood that some persons actually want to hijack protests that was been happening within these days. So we, the concerned youth, we decided to come down to the secretariat as early as 5:30 this morning. The police are here, the militaries are here, we are here. And some of the protesters were actually coming, but we told them that protest will not hold. And of course, protesters will have asked them to leave.
They are busting people's shops, busting into people's house, obtaining their properties and their goods and all that. We don't want the hoodlums to join the real protesters to obtain government property. That's how we are here.
One of the protesters in Port Harcourt, Gogo Wellington, says they are reviewing the activities that led to the disruption of their peaceful protest yesterday. He also alleged that they were tear-gassed by security operatives at Pleasure Park. Mr. Wellington spoke to correspondent Obiorowari.
We are currently examining the situation because we don't want a situation where protesters will suffer harm or suffer loss like what happened today. Some persons reported loss of valuable items to some hoodlums. Some persons were harassed. Protesters were harassed because all the protests we have organized so far have been peaceful and our protesters have conducted themselves peaceful in disposition.
Also, the Rivers chairman of the Civil Rights Council, Demoa Dumka, said they had to postpone the protest yesterday to avoid casualties after protesters were attacked by hoodlums at the Federal Secretariat.
We observed that some hoodlums were already there to hijack the protest. So to avoid any of our members or the citizens to get injured, we decided to withdraw from the protest. So I don't know whether these people that are protesting, that protest should know whether they are not hungry. Maybe they have collected money from politicians to stop the protest. So instead of the citizens to get injured, we decided to stay back for today. For now, I don't know if we can continue tomorrow.
And now an expert in government and governance, Anthony Ekubweze, says the protest by young people against bad governance is part of political participation. Dr. Ekubweze, a lecturer in the Department of Political Science at Rivers State University, said the federal government should rise up to the occasion by redirecting policies.
Sovereignty belongs directly to the people, so they determine how and who gets what, when and how in the polity. What the protesters are doing is a form of political participation. They are protesting against bad governance and hunger. But what the people would have been asking for would have been a redirection of state policies. I took time to listen to the president. He did not address any of the issues that were raised by the protesters. The president was not sensitive enough to the needs of the people.
The political scientist also said the waving of foreign flags during the protest will not affect Nigeria's relationship with those nations. Yesterday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tugar said the federal government will not accept any foreign interference and warned that anyone funding the protest, both from within and outside Nigeria, will not be spared. This comes after the spokesperson, Department of State Service, Peter Afanaya, said 7 Polish nationals were arrested for displaying foreign flags amid a violent protest in Kano State. Still to come, House of Reps explains why it is yet to donate half its salaries. Stay with us.
Light Up Port Harcourt Music Festival, hosted by Tacha, Obi Ivy, and Akman Okon. Over 10,000 will be in attendance to enjoy epic performances by
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Rotimi Akin, has explained why the House has yet to donate half of the members' salaries as promised. Recall that in July, members of the House agreed to cut their salaries by 50% for 6 months in solidarity with Nigerians over the economic hardship experienced by the citizens. However, Mr. Rotimi said that this has not been done because the necessary administrative procedures were only formally started on 23rd July. He called for patience, saying the House remains committed to the 50% deduction in lawmakers' salaries in the interest of Nigerians. And now the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mele Kyari, says the organization has nothing to do with substandard importation of petroleum products in the country. Mr. Kyari said this when he appeared before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee to investigate the alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry. Mr. Kyari said NNPCL staff are not criminals or thieves and also not fighting or persecuting anyone. In business, the National Assembly has questioned the $1.5 billion approved in 2021 for the turnaround maintenance of the Port Harcourt refining and petrochemical company with little or no result. It also vowed to probe allegations of sabotage to the supply of crude oil to domestic refineries and invited officials of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Dangote Petroleum Refinery, among others, for the probe. In entertainment, Nollywood veteran Francis Duru has lost his 15-year-old son, Ifeanyi. In sports, former Tottenham and Chelsea boss Mauricio Pochettino is emerging as a leading candidate to become the next England manager. The 52-year-old Argentine is open to succeeding Gareth Southgate.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
A state of emergency has been declared in the Kursk region of Russia as a rare cross-border attack by Ukrainian troops continued on Wednesday. The acting regional governor, Alexei Smirnov, said the move was necessary to eliminate the consequences of enemy forces coming into the region. Russian officials said at least 5 civilians had been killed and 31 wounded, 6 of them children, since the start of the incursion. Ukraine has not officially commented, and the depth of the incursion remains unclear.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Activities at the Rivers State Secretariat are still paralyzed as the End Bad Governance protests enter day 8. Rivers NUJ has condemned reported attack on journalists covering the protest. Rivers Police Commissioner has promised to prevent violent demonstration. The House of Reps says it is still committed to donating half of its monthly salaries in solidarity with Nigerians over economic hardship. And on the foreign scene, a state of emergency has been declared in Russian Kursk region following attacks by Ukrainian troops. The news was edited by Onyekachi Nwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele. Many thanks for listening.